What's going on, everybody? I'm Kevin from Cigar Prop. It is a tech tip Monday. These past Sundays have just been killer. So busy. Even today I had to work, and I'm normally off on Monday. So, yeah, tech tip. So I really didn't have one until I read Steve Saka of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Cigar Company. In case there's people watching this that I don't know, maybe watching this that aren't in the industry. Steve Saka made a post. He's on his way back from for Texas. So sorry if you lost Steve. And he has a flat on his boat trailer. He didn't have the right lug wrench. He hadn't even had the boat in the water for 3 years, which means the tires were probably 5 years old. Everything went wrong, and it's just something I see so often, especially living here in Florida. Boats all over the place. We no longer service boat and boat trailers. If you have a tire issue, and you call us up, yeah, you need to take the tire off and bring us the tire. We're just lug nut snapping, frozen components, and it's just we just got tired of, in the way our parking lot is. If a boat trailer gets stuck in there because everything's broken, there's no working around it. So we don't even allow them in our parking lot anymore. But it's just, we see it all the time. Just yesterday, Brianna, our young front counter help, I'm across the shop and I see her airing up a tire, and I look and I scream to stop. And then she looks over, the customer looks over, a young lady, and they're like, what? And I go, look at that tire. They go, how old is that tire? You could tell it was sitting on a trailer and it had buried itself halfway up with dirt. So I go over there, the tire is 11 years old. And it's just in horrible shape. I go, we cannot fill this tire up. It's dangerous to be on the road. If it's cracked, you filling it up, you're just talking, all of a sudden it explodes. And it has killed people before. Sadly, we lost one of our store managers to a tire, like a situation like that. And the young lady's like, oh, we just need to get this trailer back, aired up and get back on because we're moving it. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't be moving this trailer anywhere. I go, this thing is a hazard going down the road. If they'd have just aired it up themselves, and we, like I said, we see it in Florida. You see trailers tipped on their side. You're going down the road, boats damaged, all the time, literally on a weekly basis. That's something that we see, and it's because people don't know. Look at the tire. Oh, hey, it's full of air. Should be good. A lot of people don't know that a tire loses, I always say 10%, but I think it's actually like 11% if you read, if you go by with Carlisle, the biggest trailer tire manufacturer states. But 10%, a trailer tire loses 10% of its load carrying capability every single year. And depending on who you talk to, that doesn't make any difference whether it's mounted on the car or not. Sitting on a shelf, after a couple of years, it's still, after 5 years, or after even a year, 10% of its load carrying capability has gone away, even though it's never even been mounted and balanced and it's in a controlled environment. That part, not 100% sure about. We just got to go with what they say. But the majority of manufacturers do say 10% a year. So if the tire is 5 years old, 50% of its load carrying capability has been taken away. And especially on, I know on Steve's trailer that didn't look real big. Boat was kind of small. No offense, Steve. I know you're a lake fisherman. You don't need a big fancy boat, even though you got all that money. It probably didn't have a great deal of load carrying capability as it was. And then he towed that from New Hampshire to Texas, back to New Hampshire. Going down the road, tire getting hot, hitting the bumps. Can't imagine what that tire was going through on that trip. And he did make it all the way out there. He just had a flat on the way back. And he got taken care of, on the road or side of the road, 3 or 4 hours, whatever it was. And he was back along his way. But sometimes we see, people, they call us up. Hey, we need this trailer tire. We're on the highway. We don't even have a spare. We don't have a spare. Most people don't have a spare. They don't have a way. Like, oh, just use my truck. I'll use the lug wrench on my truck. You think that fits your trailer? No. So people are just unprepared. So this is the time of year people are going to be putting their boats away. Do some maintenance on your boat. Grease up your axles. Take a look at your tires. This is definitely not the time to replace your tires, especially if it's going to be sitting all winter long. Do that in the summertime. On every tire is a DOT, a Department of Transportation number. There'll be some letters, blah blah blah, but in a circle imprinted on there will be 4 digits, like 0205. That's the second week of 2005. Or 0225, the second week of 2025. So that's how you read that. The first 2 digits are the week that it was made. The second 2 digits are the last 2 digits of the year, 22, 23, 24, 25. 5 years is the absolute maximum. You got to get that off the road. If you're approaching 5 years, I would say, especially if the tire, like Steve, say Steve had his boat hadn't been in the water, he said, in 3 years. Let's say 3 years ago he put those tires on, so they're new, 3 years old, but he hadn't moved the trailer, really put some miles on it in 3 years, and he's going from New Hampshire to Texas. I would have put 2 new tires on that. It's just not worth the risk. Even though it was a small boat, hey man, it's still money. You don't want to flip a boat, but yeah, it's just it just boggles my mind. People that don't think about that. Boat people think about that, like down here, like people that are boating constantly. Like my coworker has a boat, and yeah, he works in the business, but he's always making sure his tires are properly inflated. They're not getting old. He's up making sure he's greasing his axles after he pulls it out of the water. He's spraying it down. And my buddy Brian, his dad was methodical with that as well. Making sure hitting it with some rust penetrant or some WD-40 or something, hitting all the lug nuts after, washing everything down to make sure rust doesn't set in, because nothing sucks worse than going to pull off a lug nut and having the studs snap because they're rusted solid. So yeah, think about that as you're putting your boats away for the winter. Maybe for once, do a little maintenance on your trailer. Take a look at it. Take it into a trailer place. But before you put it away, like, hey, can you give it a good inspection? What's going on with these axles? The braking system. How's it working? If you have a trailer with integrated brakes, in Florida we have a lot of big boats here, so a lot of trailers have integrated brakes. Nobody ever takes care of those brakes, so I don't know. It just when I read Steve's post, like I said, just made me thinking of Brianna airing up that tire. And just thinking of that young lady that, I don't know who she was getting it. Maybe it's her trailer. Not like she was, look at me being sexist. Oh, maybe she was getting it for her dad or her husband. Yeah, she could have been doing it herself. So in driving down the road with a boat or whatever it is, a trailer of any kind with old-ass tires, dry rotted, getting ready to explode, and man, you just yeah, like I said before, we've all seen it. Everybody, I think, has seen it at least once, and if you're lucky, it's just the boat that tips over, and or wrecks. But we've seen the bigger ones, man, where it flips the truck, the van, the car, whatever it's attached to, and it's just a bad day. Inspect your tires, inspect your hubs, inspect your lug nuts. Make sure you have a spare. Make sure you have a fucking lug wrench somewhere and storing it with the device. Not like, oh, hey, I normally tow this with my other truck and I keep the lug wrench in there. Keep it with the boat. Keep it with the trailer. Put a little compartment on the trailer and keep all that shit with you. So, all right, cats and kittens. Catch you on the flip side.